The BBC's Nish Kumar appeared on Ash Sarkar's show to attack the free media, and we talk about Sadiq Khan's problem with people who happen to be white. Hello everyone and welcome to the second video of the day. This is all about the cultural issues that we are facing in this country, from the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, to the BBC lefties who've been using their platform for years and decades to attack our British values and culture. For example, we have people like Nish Kumar, who until recently had a comedy show on the BBC. Some people found it funny, some people didn't find it funny. That's obviously subjective in terms of the comedy of it, but in terms of the bias that the BBC have been using, this tactic for years and years, despite their charter. Of course, their charter says that they can't be biased, they can't pick a position unless they use it. They use comedy and political satire to actually make political points. Nish Kumar was quite high-ranking in terms of the comedy shows and his MASH report on the BBC. Now, the new Director General wants to create a new vision and a new image for the BBC. He's decided to go after a number of left-wing comedy shows, but I don't think this is going to actually change much. A lot of people who've been waiting for Tim David to be in charge of the BBC to make these reforms, they're waiting for proper reforms, not gimmick politics. Firstly, Nish Kumar, who lost his show a couple of days ago, came on Twitter, you guys probably seen it by now, and he said a lot of people are asking me for a comment about him losing his show, and here it is. Well, you can see, Boris Johnson is a liar and you can't say it. The issue with this guy is that he's gone on Ash Sarkar's show, Novara Media, to discuss the British media and the role of the BBC. Let's just watch this and I'm going to react to it as he talks during the interview.
I think the BBC is really trying to appease people who will never be appeased by it.
So that's the first problem. The fact that he thinks that it's the BBC's job to either try to appease to certain people in this country or not. The BBC job is not supposed to be that or ignore them. Firstly, the people in this country pay for the BBC's people, the salary and the actual funding, the whole project. So technically speaking, they're there to represent the people. But what Nish Kumar is basically saying is that the BBC should just ignore a certain groups in the society because, you just can't appease like these people. So this is the biggest problem. But he continues by then talking about the free media and press in general, the people who he doesn't like.
I think the BBC is really trying to compromise with people who aren't trying to compromise with them. What does an organisation like the Mail or any of the Murdoch papers, what is their ultimate goal here?
It's interesting, every single time that the leftists lose the argument when it comes to the media, somehow Murdoch comes up. It's always about Murdoch. And of course, we have a lot of issues with certain papers and media in general when it comes to their leanings. But this is the free press, free media. They're supposed to be able to take positions, especially when it comes to the press. The broadcast media is slightly different because of Ofcom, but there's absolutely no problem with having Daily Mail. At the same time, you can have Daily Mirror to oppose it. I don't understand why people like Nish Kumar and Ash Sarkar try to create this conspiracy theory that there is some sort of agenda, because it's going to talk about Murdoch's goal here, which is absolutely idiotic.
The goal here is not to have a balanced representative BBC. Their goal is either for the BBC to effectively be a propaganda distribution network for the government, or really what their goal ultimately is for the BBC to not exist. Because
okay, so apparently it's a job of Murdoch and the Mail and the Sun to be the propaganda machine for the government. Have you seen what the Mail published? I mean, especially over the last few years. They have, of course, supported government policies on certain issues like Brexit, but they're not there to represent the government. So many times they've criticized the government. The issue with that Nish Kumar has, the issue with the Mail or the Sun or certain papers is that they support conservatism, and sometimes they support just right-wing in different terms, whether it's nationalism or just conservatism or free market. It's not Toryism. There's a difference between Toryism and being generally centre-right.
He stands as a kind of buttress against a complete media whitewash by, the Murdoch papers, the Rothermere Group. The BBC is a direct competitor to them.
I don't think so. I really don't think at this point they see the BBC as a competitor, especially the papers. Why would the BBC be a competitor to the Sun or the Mail? Even when it comes to broadcast TV, like when you have Sky News, again, it's not a good example, being a competitor to the BBC, because at times they're on the same side. There's no competition when it comes to the BBC, because they've been dominating the actual news outlets. But until things are going to change soon. But I don't think any of them, including Channel 4, see the BBC or BBC News as a competitor. They're on a whole different level.
And so when the BBC tries to compromise with them, there is an element of the antelope trying to meet the lion halfway. You can cut off your leg and feed it to them, but they aren't going to go, thank you very much, we're done. They're going to,
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea what that was about. The fact that, he's now comparing us to lions and whatever it is. And Ashsaka laughing in the background, because, yeah, absolutely. Let's just attack any sort of press or outlets that we don't like just because they're right-wing or left-wing. You criticize whether it's, any sort of outlet, press or media, based on what they say, based on their actions. There have been some articles that I've seen, even in the Mirror in the past, when they've been taking the side of the working class, that I've supported. It's best to be objective on these sort of things. But these people don't understand. And there's a massive problem right now. There's a massive attack on our values and our British culture. And you've got the left-wing media doing this. You've got certain people in a position of power doing this. Again, we've seen the recent saga with Harry and Meghan, and we've seen the political figures, speaking out. Now, the latest we have on this, because we don't really want to keep talking about Harry and Meghan. They've already had their platform and had their say. But we haven't actually heard much from the other side. There's been very diplomatic statements being released by the palace until today. We actually have the latest from the palace actually saying that the question nobody seems able to answer is, what are the Sussexes trying to achieve with this? This is according to a source in Buckingham Palace. We don't know what they want. If you think the Queen is great, then why are you trying to trash everything she and the family stands for? There is a point to this when it comes to the attack on our values and our British culture and institutions in general. Conservatism, British conservatism, is currently in danger from all sides. Academia, media, celebrities, people in the position of power. And there are some people who are trying to protect it. By the way, British conservatism and Toryism, again, are two separate things. When it comes to our British heritage and values, the system is there to protect it. People like William and Kate right now, who are just doing their job, and regardless of the fact that some people are still right wing, but they're monarchists, or some people are Republican, that's a whole different debate. The issue is that we have to protect our values. Now we have the latest video from earlier today when Kate went out in public with no security around her, near her, to pay respect to Sarah Everard, who lost her life. And this is actually quite interesting. Let's just watch the clip and then we'll come back. Again, it's got nothing to do with supporting or not supporting the royal family or monarchy. This is actually showing the true nature of Britishism as a culture and how we can actually be normal and nice and civilized. And the fact that just people just mingle around and they didn't really bother Kate, and she was just doing her job. But there is a thing about how this culture is changing because of certain factions, because of certain people in the media and other parts of institutions that we have. We have the Mayor of London, who today tweeted against people who happen to be white, saying that there's no good reason why 65% of people working in science and engineering should be white men. Oh yeah, it's not just skin color, but it's also their gender. Inequality costs people's future. And, well, yeah, so this is the issue that we have. Firstly, it's like Sadiq doesn't know that 80% of the population happen to have white skins. Secondly, we don't have systemic inequality in this country. It's not like people who have different skin color or happen to be women are being banned or stopped from joining these sectors. There are already a lot of programs and within society encouragement by a lot of people to get people from ethnic minorities and women to get involved. And we are actually seeing a massive increase in terms of female scientists. And of course, it will be nice to have diversity in that sense, but I don't really care about the actual skin color or even gender. Firstly, people have the freedom and the right to join these sectors and industries. The fact that Sadiq Khan is now using this as a political tool because he knows that he needs to get certain votes in London in the upcoming election, but he's decided to divide our city and society once again. Same Sadiq Khan who's decided to criticize one of his rivals, Laurence Fox, by labeling him extreme, not just normal, extreme far right. Yeah, apparently that's now a thing. And Laurence Fox and his party reclaim, of all things that you could criticize them, whether it's the certain policies of, why they're talking about lockdown, unlocking when lockdown's going to be lifted, apparently, straight after the actual election, or any certain other things. Why would you just randomly label or personally insult your opponent? This is what they always do. They always go back to personal insults because they don't know how to actually debate. And it's all about dividing our society, as I said. And Sadiq Khan, and left-wing media, and certain people in institutions, again, people like Harry and Meghan at this point, they're damaging our culture, they're damaging our values, and they don't even know they're doing it, those people. But, people like the left-wing media outlets, some of them, they know what they're doing. We know certain people in The Guardian want our culture to completely change, for the sake of their progressive utopia and this fantasy land that they have in their heads. They want to change everything. But we are here to try our best to be objective and tell the truth and criticize people, whether they're left-wing or right-wing, to make sure that the truth is being told. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We are actually seeing a massive increase in the subscription, so make sure if you haven't subscribed, if you don't know, it's free to do so. It's not like a Telegraph or the Times. Just click on the subscribe button under the video. It's the best way to stay up to date with all the programs, the daily programs that we publish. It also helps the channel to get a boost to spread our videos. Thanks again for watching. I'm Tousi, and I'll see you guys in the next video.